Hey everybody, it's Allie and welcome to our Y&R chat for Sunday, February 22nd, 2026. Wow! Mariah has been released into the loving arms of Crimson Lights and the Chancellor Park Cafe. She needs counseling, not coffee. Oh, MG. But she has got a fabulous new ankle bracelet to show off. I don't know about you, but I find that very classy, very trendy, very high fashion. Okay, so I will just get this little minor detail out of the way so that it has been said. It is ridiculous that Mariah did not either go to prison or to Fairview. But then, if she had gone to prison or to Fairview, we would not have had the audacious moment of Mariah showing up at Abby and Devon's house, aka the chance match. Or we also would not have had the awkwardness of Abby showing up at the Chance Cafe with Dominic, and what do you know, Mariah is there having a meeting with her attorney. Because, you know, Mariah thought about just pleading guilty and just staying in jail. But then she thought, you know what, getting a little bit of fresh air might just be kind of nice. She stole their child right out of the front yard, and then a week later showed up at their front door to say, sorry. He's a good kid, though. Thought you should know. I am absolutely astonished by the amount of restraint that Abby has shown. Mariah took her son, made him call her mommy, or wanted him to. Yes, Abby, you are justified. You are justified. I think Devon has been holding her back. And I do appreciate that, because I think Devon's coolness over the situation has definitely been a nice counterbalance to Abby's hotness over the situation. But it was time to unload, and I was so happy to see it. I was also really happy to see that Christine is representing Mariah. I really did not expect that. I didn't know that was going to happen. I imagine that the judge probably will take one look at Christine in her all-white, wide-legged, beautiful pantsuit, and the judge will just say, oh, Christine Blair Williams Romalotti is your attorney? Not guilty. That seems reasonable to me. Christine's so great. She argued to Abby on Friday that Mariah has undergone intense psychological testing. And they were able to deem that she is no harm to herself or to others. And yet, Christine is also planning an insanity defense. So, which is it? Is Mariah mentally well, or is she mentally insane? No, wait, I know the answer. I already know the answer. She was temporarily insane, but now she's, say it with me, not that person anymore. I am also so impressed with how Tessa has handled this whole thing. Tessa is so loving and so selfless still, after everything. She goes to the arraignment, and then she goes to the coffee house afterwards to talk to her wife face to face. She didn't have to do that. She could have just moved on with her life, moved on with Daniel, filed for divorce, and never looked back. But Tessa was trying to show compassion, and she was also trying to show and extend that compassion to Abby and Devon by visiting with them this week, saying how sorry she is that this has all happened, but also how she believes that Mariah is a good person. And then what does Mariah do? Basically the same thing that Mariah has been doing. She locks everything down. She gives Tessa literally nothing. But then when Mariah was talking with Christine, she was also expressing how bad she feels that Tessa and Aria are moving on without her. Well, why couldn't she just say that to Tessa? I don't know. I think that Mariah believes that it's all for the best. I think that Mariah knew she was drowning and believed that no one was capable of saving her, not even Tessa. So she didn't want to take Tessa and Aria down with her. So I understand that. It's not a bad idea. Whatever the future holds for Tessa, it is probably better for her and for her child to leave Mariah out of it while things are still so uncertain. I mean, I don't think of that as abandonment. I think of that as self-love. I think that Tessa should be able to sleep easy knowing that she did everything she could. Technically, Mariah has been released into Sharon's custody, which is great, and I think that's just what Sharon needs right now. Just what Sharon needs to be dealing with. Mariah's mental health every single day, on top of Nick's drug addiction. And now in the previews, Matt Clark has escaped, and he's going to be back for a whole new round of torture. I don't know, you guys. This show is kind of dark right now. I think Nick's drug addiction just really set me over the edge. It pushed the whole tone over the edge. I'm like, oh, this show is so dark. But then I see Danny Ramalotti's face. I see his big smile and his hair-sprayed hair and his gentle voice, and I think, well, maybe everything's gonna be okay. Danny and Christine are probably only allowed to be happy in private right now, so as not to rub it in. Josh Morrow is great. Don't get me wrong. And I can understand Nick to a point because there is so much going on with the Newmans right now. Nobody is happy. Nobody is calm. And Nick is probably thinking that he is being a big man by just swallowing the pain. Literally. It's interesting that we haven't actually seen him take any of those pills. He just pulls them out of his pocket and stares at them. But then on Friday, Sharon and Noah were noticing how relaxed he seemed after writhing around, literally writhing around in pain. And now suddenly he's relaxed and his speech is slurred and there was something going on with his mouth. I am just glad that it has been noticed. It has been noticed. Because it would just be too much for me to drag this out. I mean, ugh. Can't Nick and Sharon just be happy for a minute? Is that too much to ask? I want Nick and Sharon together and happy. Are Nick and Sharon even together? I don't know. Are they a couple? She's making him tea and picking up his prescriptions. On top of dealing with Mariah, Sharon doesn't need this. But now Noah's back. Without Sienna, by the way. I have no idea if that is permanent or not. But at least now he's there for backup. Seriously, is there anybody on this show who has even a shred of happiness right now? Let's count them up. I'm for this. Let's just count the misery. Okay. Victor, Nikki, and Victoria have all lost their life's work. Nick too, plus one drug addiction. Jack and Diane are fighting over Nikki. Billy is fighting with everyone. Sally has a broken heart. Claire, Holden, and Kyle all also have broken hearts. The only one on this show who has had a good week is Audra, because she got promoted. Sally walked right in to Billy's mid-century house that she decorated, packed her stuff, and left. And now that I think about it, Sally decorated his house, ran his company. Why is he so hung up on his mother? He already had one. He doesn't need Jill. He had Sally. She was doing everything for him. Here's the thing that really struck me this week. For weeks now, everyone has been talking like Jill is on death's door. Like she cannot handle any information right now. Everyone has said that. Billy and Kane and Jack have all said, oh, we better not tell Jill about Billy taking over Chancellor. It would just be too much. It could kill her. And then, the second Billy and Sally break up, what does Sally do? She calls Jill and tells her the whole thing. It was subtle, but she said that she told Jill what Billy had done, and Jill was so disappointed. And that's why Jill was okay with her promoting Audra to replace Billy. Nobody else can even talk to Jill. They all get snapper. But Sally now needs a new co-CEO, so I'll connect you right away. Hold on. I'll put you right through. And then here's the best part. Sally doesn't just promote Audra as her co-CEO. Sally renames the whole company. Goodbye, Abbott Communications. It's Spectra Charles Communications now. Okay, I love that Sally and Audra are teaming up together. It's the best. I want them to succeed. They are like my favorite couple on the show right now. But why couldn't it be something fun? These media companies have no visual component to make me get excited. Like, I want to see Sally Spectra Designs and Audra Charles Cosmetics. She sold me when she was talking about Glissade. Sally's Designs plus Audra and Cosmetics, that would be the winning formula. Also, are you telling me that it is completely okay with Billy Abbott, the founder of Abbott Communications, and his mother, Jill Abbott, the investor, if the CEO on the payroll just goes ahead and renames the whole company after herself? Is that actually okay? That is insane. And there is no way that Billy is going to stand for it ultimately. I mean, when the Newmans finally pry Chancellor back out of Billy's hands, which I fully believe will happen soon, one way or the other, Billy is gonna want to go right back to the company that he founded and that his mother owns, and he's gonna want to take it over again, don't you think? I don't care how ironclad Sally thinks her contract is. She is still an employee. Adam and Sally had a run-in this week, and he said essentially the same thing. I think Billy is playing nice with Sally right now. Because number one, I think he's hoping that she will come back. But number two, I think he's just got bigger fish to fry. And the second that those fish go cold or whatever, he's going to be battling Sally and Audra for control of the one thing that he thinks he has left. Ooh, wait, I just thought of two more people who have at least some shred of happiness right now. Adam and Chelsea. Yes, yes. I'm sure that a lot of fans were very happy to see Adam and Sally coming together this week. But I need Adam and Chelsea to stay steady right now. I cannot handle another breakup right now. I think it's nice to see Adam and Chelsea being happy and being on the same team. And yeah, they've got problems, but they're dealing with it together. And those are, you know, Adam and Chelsea have been through a lot. So with Billy in the hot seat this week, and that Adam versus Billy rivalry just like brewing in the background over Sally, it got me thinking about one of Y&R's most controversial stories ever. It was October of 2013. It was a dark night after a school play. There was a dog off his leash, a car swerving, and an accident, a tragedy that changed Y&R literally forever. Delia Abbott's death haunted Adam and Billy and Chloe for years, and it is still one of the storylines that fans talk about the most. And it's not just about the death of a child like with Cassie, but because it was also very much about who was responsible for it. So I put together a retro recap this week about the death of Delia Abbott, and it's one of my best so far, I think, because that story is so deep and so emotional, and it involved so many different people, and I fully expect the comment section on that one to explode with Y&R fan arguments. So if you have some time this week, you should check that out at yrchat.com, or you can go directly to YouTube. It's youtube.com/ynrchat, or sorry, /yrchat. And leave me a comment. Watch the video, re-listen, relive that story, and leave me a comment on that video. Who do you think was responsible for Delia's death? Adam or Billy or both? Victoria is sending the kids to boarding school. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You should definitely send the kids to boarding school, Victoria. They're getting older now, and you really only have so many opportunities left. You do not want to miss out on these final precious years that you'll be able to send them away. Soon you'll have to send them off to college and wait for them to come back with romantic interests. Wait for them to come back as young hunks. Oh, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's a good idea. I guess. Victoria made the point that she doesn't want the children around for the war that is about to happen between Billy and the Newmans. I mean, Billy has had some pretty big blow-ups with everyone this week. I mean, Jack, Nick, Victoria. But in some ways, I mean, Billy really just kind of was in the right place at the right time. He's kind of more the benefactor of Phyllis's plan, Phyllis's treachery. Phyllis is the one who they really should be confronting. I know not everyone feels this way. But 1 week without Phyllis, not on my screen, was torture. And then I saw her in the previews, rushing into Crimson Lights, calling Daniel by his full name, like my mom does when I'm in trouble. I was just so happy. When you're in trouble, it's all 3 names. And she said, I don't remember, Daniel Michael Romolani, or I can't remember what his full name was, but it was a funny mom moment, and I can't wait to see how it pans out. Yeah, apparently Phyllis took over Newman Enterprises completely, chloroformed Kane, and then took off to Milan to try to convince Summer to come back to Genoa City and partner up with her. And then Victor took off after Phyllis, and then Victoria took off after Victor, planning also to find Summer and convince her to team up with them against her mom. And all week, all I could think of was just, I need Phyllis. Where is Phyllis? Why am I not seeing Phyllis right now? I guess she just needed a break. It was really funny because when Kane woke up from his nap, he went straight to Victor to see if Victor would just release Lily anyway. And Victor said, no. You need to deliver Newman Enterprises back unto me. So Kane had to go crawling back to Phyllis, leaving her this ridiculously long and clearly fake declaration of how much he appreciates completely the way she double-crossed him in a voicemail. It's impossible that that voicemail would not have just gotten cut off. Plus, surely, Phyllis is going to see right through that. I mean, I would imagine that Kane has a backdoor of the backdoor into the backdoor of the AI program. Can he just use that? I guess not. If he's just now asking Daniel for his help to get Phyllis to give Victor back his portfolio to save Lily's life. Oh, thank goodness that Devon and Nate have finally woken up to the fact that Lily is missing. I mean, that definitely took long enough, but I can't say I blame them, because when I know that an actress is away on maternity leave, I honestly just put my brain on pause. I cannot spend the energy speculating about what has really happened to Lily. I mean, just let me know when I'm about to see her face again. Claire went all the way to LA just to break up with Holden when she couldn't find any real dirt on him. I'd say I almost feel sorry for Holden. If I didn't know that Claire was right and that he definitely is hiding something from her. But then again, what's the big deal? I mean, who hasn't accidentally killed a guy and buried him in the desert? You know? What Claire has done, all the things that Claire has done, is arguably worse. Because she tried to kill multiple people on purpose. No accidents there, just straight up homicidal tendencies. I guess in Claire's mind, she did all these bad things, but she owns it. She's open about it. And so that makes it different. I think what bothers Claire about Holden, and this is basically what she said, is that he's done bad things too, but he's still trying to hide it. But I just think that's such a smoke screen, because really, when you get right down to it, it's not even about Holden. If it were about Holden, Claire probably would have just let it go by now, because she's found no evidence. But what this is really about is Audra. Finding dirt on Audra. Claire's relationship with Holden is just a casualty of war. T can solve anything. You know, I agree with that. T can solve anything. Hibiscus tea, preferably. Who do you think said that If you know or if you want to find out, go to yrchat.com. That's our Who Said It quote for the week. And our birthday of the week belongs to good old Marky, aka Mark. Oh my goodness, your birthday is today. I love that. I hope you're not actually watching Y&R Chat. You're probably out partying or something, right? We can celebrate your birthday tomorrow. You go out and have a good time. When you come back, I will have Miguel make a fantastic birthday cake for you so you can have it tomorrow. Oh, good old Marky. I hope you're having a wonderful day. You probably are watching right now. This might be part of your birthday celebration. If so, that is quite an honor. Happy birthday. Well, let's read some comments, starting with Kamna, who says, Dear Claire Newman, since you're all about honesty and coming clean, when do you plan to let Holden know that you did, in fact, poison Jordan? Cold-blooded killer, you are. Game recognizes game, yeah? Oh, Kamna, that's perfect. Ooh. Major news of the week comes from Victoria, who says SoapSheKnows.com reports that Shamar Moore and Vivica A. Fox will briefly reprise their roles as Malcolm Winters and Dr. Stephanie Simmons. The site says that they could be back in Genoa City to let the Winterses know that Holden is their son. That was the sound of my head exploding. OMG, I cannot wait to see Malcolm again. Yay! And Vivica A. Fox, oh my gosh, she's so gorgeous. This could be so good. This is like the best news of the decade. But what could it be? So they're speculating that they're there to reveal that Holden is their son. I mean, yeah, that makes complete sense. Why else would they both be coming on? But damn, there would go my hope that Lily and Holden could hook up someday. But that would make so much sense. That would make Holden a bona fide member of the Winters family. Ooh, that's very exciting and very juicy. So, wow, Patty Williams is coming back. It says Malcolm and Stephanie will be back reprising their roles briefly. Yeah, Shamar never really stays for long. He'll do a little this and a little that over the years, but he never really stays for long. So whatever it is, it might just be an information drop, but it's got to be good if Vivica Fox is coming too. Ooh, what do you think the news will be? Any other speculation this week, chatters? Leave a comment, let me know. Connie says, after today's episode, I am not buying Victor's story that Lily agreed to sabotage Kane by pretending to be kidnapped. Nikki and Victoria were in on the plan, yet Lily doesn't respond to their messages. She might have wanted revenge on Kane, but she would never have agreed to be unreachable to Devon, and she wouldn't willingly ignore a message from her brother. I smell a rat, and he has a whisker mustache. OMG, I love that comment, Connie. I am interested to know what Adam is going to uncover about whatever deal Victor and Lily may or may not have made. But, I mean, if you're right, then that means that, gee, there's no deal at all and Lily's just straight up kidnapped. Who knows? Maybe Victor's just went around her and decided to give her something. But the fact that Adam keeps bringing that up makes me think that there must be something to it. T. Nicole says, I wonder if Victor could recruit a top-notch computer hacker to hack the company back from Phyllis for a chunk of change. Oh, yeah. I mean, I have absolutely no doubt that all of this can and will be resolved. I absolutely think Newman Enterprises can and will be returned to the Newmans. I mean, is there any real doubt? I think part of the reason this story is something I've been able to just sort of go with and enjoy is I don't feel any real worry or danger like Victor's not going to get his company back. I feel it's absolutely certain and only a matter of time. Do you think that Newman Enterprises should be returned to the Newman family? Let's make that our poll question for the week. Are you guys rooting for that, for Newman Enterprises to be returned to the Newman family, or do you want to keep it as is for a little while? YRChat.com is where you can cast your vote there. Russell says, Nick came skipping to his loo, swinging his cane over his head into the coffee shop. Fentanyl much? Yeah, apparently fentanyl makes you feel like tap dancing. All he needed was a top hat. Shelley says, not sure if anyone has mentioned this, but has anyone else noticed that Nick is using his cane on the wrong side? He injured his left leg. It was the left side he was clutching in the hospital. Yes, agreed. I remember the foot. But he's using his cane on the left side, which is not what he should be doing. The cane should go on the opposite side of the injured leg. I didn't know that, but that makes complete sense. Yeah, that would be your counterbalance. That's funny. Nick is using his cane on the wrong side. Must be the drugs. Diana says, does anyone think that a romance may be headed for Sharon and Detective Burrows? I'd be up for that. You know, Diana, maybe we are not headed for a Nick and Sharon reunion now or anytime in the future. I mean, the only person who Burrow has really had any real one-on-one discussions with is Sharon, so maybe he's slated to be a romantic interest for her. Anything just to have like one torture-free year for Sharon. Michelle says, Sharon was convincing when saying Mariah was entrusted to her care. So what, that she disposed of Heather's body, is a convicted arsonist, and an accomplice to burying JT alive. What a role model for poor Mariah. Oh yeah, let's hope we don't have to stack up Sharon's crimes in court along with Mariah. Diana also says, does Sharon realize how amazing it is that not too long ago she was seeing the ghost of a villain that was telling her to do bad things? And now her daughter Mariah just went through the exact same thing. Wow, what are the odds? The apple really doesn't fall far from the tree. You know, Sharon has had so many connections to what is going on with Mariah. I mean, she's, has stolen a baby before too. So Sharon has kidnapped. Sharon has been a disassociative. Sharon has hallucinated. I mean, she's literally done all of these things and never mentions it. In fact, the only connection from Sharon's past that she has even mentioned lately is the fact that she was kidnapped with Phyllis. And she keeps saying it, over and over again. And, that just reminds me of how disappointing it is that Sharon and Phyllis didn't actually turn out to be friends in the end. Sharon hasn't gone and had any meaningful conversations with Phyllis that might actually get to the heart of Phyllis's motivation. No. Astra says, that wasn't cool for Sharon and Mariah to ambush Abby and Devon like that. It was way too soon for Mariah to try to apologize when Abby and Devon are still raw about what happened. They deserved to make the call if they wanted to confront Mariah or not. Not Mariah. Yeah, no kidding. And, I mean, Christine made the great point that you kind of just undermined my case. I'm trying to establish that you are not guilty by reason of insanity, and then here you go to Abby and Devon and apologize, which implies guilt. Not smart. Not smart. T. Nicole says, I am so happy that Abby told Devon how upset she is at Mariah and showing her anger. It bothers me, the lack of anger from Devon. Devon has shown way more anger toward Kane and other people, but Mariah kidnapping his son just doesn't seem to set him off the way Kane, Tucker, and even Nate has at times. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that Devon's reaction has been, shall we call it, mild. It doesn't bother me terribly because I do sort of like the good cop, bad cop thing. But you know, he is constantly saying, like, Mariah's a good person. Mariah's our friend. We love Mariah. He just seems to have a soft spot for her for one reason or another. But I think probably, like, maybe T. Nicole, this story hits us in a different place because we have, like, you know, younger kids. My daughter's older than Dom is, but still, it's like you can't help putting yourself into Abby's shoes. Well, I mean, I guess once a mother, always a mother. Probably anybody with kids, it hits in a certain way because, or, you know, and dads too, whatever. Once you're a parent, it's like you imagine someone taking your child for even a day, like straight up taking your child out of your front yard. I mean, there's no way anybody could, you know, with kid couldn't empathize with that and be infuriated by that. Naomi says, I find Mariah incredibly selfish. Not shellfish, sorry. Selfish. Always, it's about her feelings or her need to make people understand. I want her gone from the show for the time being because she is on my last nerve. Sherrod says, to me, Abby's the selfish one. Mariah had a mental breakdown. Of course, taking the child is wrong, but where's the compassion? If not for Mariah, she wouldn't even have a child. And Sue W. says, I don't have compassion for Mariah. She knew enough right and wrong to hide what she was doing, as do most mentally ill criminals. Was it mental illness or Ian cult brainwashing? Yeah, I guess, I mean, I'm sure it is mental illness, but people who have mental illness still get convicted of the crimes. And, you know, I was thinking, somebody said something, I think Devon mentioned this week about how, you know, they owe Mariah. They said, somebody said something, I think Devon was arguing that, you know, they owe Mariah for having Dom in the first place, and that's Sherrod's point too. But, you know, I was thinking when they said that, how long do you have to owe Mariah for that? I mean, it was a contract, it was completed. I mean, there are other candidates who could have done the job. How long do they have to feel indebted to Mariah over it, so much so that they're not allowed to experience or embrace their own anger over what she did? I don't know. I think we are actually going to get a trial. Christine said it's going to be set for mid-March. I think Mariah is going to be sentenced to Fairview, and I think that's where she's going to run in to Patty Williams. Oh, final comment comes on our sets for the week. Let's see. Naomi says the scene with Victoria and Nate was interesting in that the water was occasionally dripping from the corner of the building behind Nate. I kept watching that and decided that the drip indicates snow melting or a crew member spilled something, but I thought it was a really nice detail for the scene/set design. Yes, and Russell says, I think it's real crushed ice that they're using, and it looks like it's dripping. Oh, yes, I noticed that too. I mean, I have never seen water dripping on a set on Y&R before, and it was in the Abby and Dom scene too. Russell, that's a really good theory that maybe they have actual crushed ice up, you know, on the tops of the sets, and then as it melts, it drips, but it was so sensory and it added something so real to the set. It faked me out. I really thought, gee, are they filming outside? Did it rain in LA and then they filmed the scene? But it felt so real. Russell, your theory about the crushed ice is probably right. But that really added the spring sensation to those scenes. Okay, well, I've got to wrap up with this amazing comment that I received from Sue W. about the Fauna and the Flora. She's listening to the audiobook, is not even done with it yet, and sent me this email saying, I'm so impressed with the talent and skill you've brought to authoring and designing and editing and narrating and publishing and distributing and promoting, and oh yeah, the little thing called Y&R Chat. You've put such passion, time, respect, and care into FNF. All Y&R fans can see the labor of love it has been for you. I have to pause there. Sue W., thank you so much. It means so much to me that not only are you reading the book, but that you get it and that you appreciate it. And just thank you for picking up on all of the details that you have. Sue W. goes on to say, it's been fun noting your details and tweaks that convert Genoa City human life into Genoa City animal life. I get a kick out of those things such as Trequila and Perfume, just to name a few. F&F character developments are spot on Y&R. I love that Victor Newmouse plays Chestnuts. And Leanne Lovely is a skunk with a blonde streak. Catherine's clicking talons moving with purpose are total Mrs. C, and Screechy Jillian is so Jill Brassy with beauty pageant hair, of course. The Abbott Warren felt instantly homey, and it was poignant to know Macy's oversized cardigan and other insecurities represent a young Tracy. And oh yeah, Brackalicious, so hunky great. I think my favorite is the Soraz Foundation charity. Fantastic. Yes, thank you, Sue W. Again, there are so many of those little details that just went into, putting 6 years into it. There were just so many little soap opera nuances that found their way in. The Soros Foundation is one of my favorite lines. It's all so much fun, Allie, and I just want to let you know how much I'm enjoying it. Also, she says about the audiobook, and this means a lot to me, that definitive, consistent voicing of each character is key for readers to stay invested in audiobooks, and you have accomplished that in FNF. At times, you sound just like many of the show's characters, especially Mickey and Macy. Yes. Now that's one of the things, Sue W, is yes, like sometimes you'll listen to an audiobook, and especially with I have a large ensemble cast. There are 20 different characters, and I know that if a voice drops off and suddenly doesn't sound the same as it did in a previous chapter, that can just pull you right out of the book. I started recording the Fauna and the Flora audiobook just thinking I was going to read the chapters from 1 to 37 or whatever it is straight through, and I very quickly realized that I was not able to effectively switch back and forth between the different characters and also the narration. So I think the reason why the audiobook sounds so consistent is because all the parts were recorded separately. I did every character's voice all on its own, then switched to another character and did all of that voicing. So I was able to mentally get into that headspace. And it's interesting because it's like there's only, you know, my voice can really only go high, medium, or low. So it was really much more about inflections and sort of, I don't know, like channeling an essence. I've really gotten a lot of nice compliments on my Mickey voice. She's just so easy for me to channel. I think probably just for years of listening and living with Melody Thomas Scott, I can just hear her immediately. Victor, you know, that's just there with me. Same for Victor Newman. I just can hop right into my Victor Newman voice pretty easily. I found that voicing John Abbott was actually incredibly easy. He's sort of frozen in my mind, and he has that very measured voice, you know. And Jillian was a lot of fun because she is brash. She's a little like Smoker's voicey, so she's a little raspy at times. And Cathra, certainly one of my favorite voices to do, because Cathra is just sort of like grumpy sometimes. And so she's there. Jean Cooper's just there with me, you know, like, darling, look at me. Look at me. You know, I mean, she's just there and I can access it. Macy was very hard for me because Tracy is so near and dear to my heart, and probably the character of Macy is the one that I identify with the most, and so I wanted to do it justice. She has a lot of heart and a high voice, so I just sort of had to combine those two. Ashlyn was really hard. She was one of the final voices that got re-recorded. You know, I had a hard time accessing her. Eileen Davidson isn't around as much anymore, so she wasn't as present in my mind. But then I just go, Jackie, and I'm there. William was really hard because Jason Thompson is in my head every day as Billy, but truth be told, when I picture my character of William, I picture Billy Miller, and I think the vocal really reflects that. He had a very interesting voice. You know, he was a little more fun. He had a little more inflection, a little bit more of a high voice. He was fun to do. Jack Rabbit was the hardest voice for me to do. In fact, a lot of his parts got re-recorded. I could write him super easy. His dialogue, I know exactly what Jack Rabbit's going to say at any point, but then when it came to actually replicating that voice, that salesman-like Jack Rabbit Abbott voice, I had a lot of trouble. I had to go back and re-record quite a lot of that because I knew it needed to be right. I mean, I absolutely had to nail that, or the whole thing was going to fall apart, because Jack Rabbit is arguably the main character in the Fauna and the Flora. He's got the most material, and he is the thread that ties Chenoa City and Southbrook together, so he had to be right. Thank you for sending me this email, Sue W, and thank you for letting me have the opportunity to reflect on those things from the FNF experience. It was a long road, and I didn't think I was going to record an audiobook. I mean, I got all the way to the end of writing the book, and I just thought, I have to read it out loud. I have to. People have got to be able to hear this in the way that I heard it in my head, and to know that you felt I effectively was able to embrace and embody those Y&R inspirations really means a lot to me. So thank you again so much, Sue W. Thank you everyone for bearing with me. I hope that you have enjoyed this Y&R chat. If you are reading FNF, by the way, please feel free to send me a message or leave a comment there. Hearing that you enjoy that really means a lot to me, especially as I continue writing book 2, and of course continuing to chat about Y&R every single week. I hope that you guys go to yrchat.com to check out all of the goodies there, and come back next Sunday so that we can chat again about our favorite show. I love you guys. I hope you have a good one. Thanks. Bye.